What's going on YouTube? Bryce Crispy94 here, bringing you another miniature painting video, and this time we are jumping back in with another Lost Mines crew member. This is Arsena Bright Ember, the Fire Genasi Rogue of the party, in her level 5 form. Since you last saw her, she has taken the Soul Knife subclass, so that is our little Soul Knife dagger over here. And then as a Fire Genasi, I think when she hit level 4 or 5, she got the Flame Blade spell, as you can see in this hand. So being able to wield a Flame Blade and throw psychic daggers, she has become a bit of a badass rogue. And like all the members, they got their 5th level upgrade, so I decided to do new characters. And I thought this would be a great one to bring to the channel, teach you how to paint a Fire Genasi Rogue. So that's enough chit chat. Let's get to paint. Once the model has been primed black and dry brushed white, we're going to grab our Grim Black speed paint. We're going to cover all of the cloth. This is her skirt, her chest, her sleeves, everything that is cloth that doesn't protrude, like the straps and the edging on the skirt. And remember, when it comes to speed paints, always paint in a downward motion. This will give you the best look. Once the speed paint is good and dry, we're going to grab our Vampire Garments, or Army Painter's Abomination Gore, and we're going to do all the straps and raised areas, including her little scarf thing that hangs off her waist, and then the edges of the skirt, and all the straps on her chest and arm. Now we're going to do a little paint mixture here. We're going to grab Kobold Red or Chaotic Red and mix that with some Garnet Skin Pigment Toner. And this is going to be a 2-to-1 ratio, and that's going to give us our skin tone for our Fire Genasi. Well, as with skin tones, you will be applying it to her face and hands and any other visible skin areas on the model. Now we're going to break out the metallics. We're going to grab some Army Painter gunmetal, and we're going to paint her swords and her daggers, as well as the buttons on her straps and sash. Now we're not painting the sword, the flaming sword in her hand, or the dagger in her hand, just the weapons she has on her back. Moving on, we're going to grab Citadel's Averland Sunset, and we're going to apply the first base coat to her hair. It may take a couple coats depending on how lightly you dry brush or how darkly you left the hair, but we want it to be a nice dark yellow when we're done with this. Now we're going to grab some dead white, and we're going to base coat the dagger in her hand and the sword. Now, in the video, you'll see I just painted the sword part of the flaming sword, but after doing so, I recommend you paint the flames white as well, because it's going to make your fire look more vibrant in the end. Now this is a pretty fun step. We're going to make our own wash. We're just going to grab our Vallejo Orange Fire, take about 2-3 drops, put it in our dry palette, and then put a bunch of water in there to get it into that wash consistency. And then we're just going to streak that through the hair. So you want to see that orange color flow into the recesses of the hair. Now we're going to make a second wash here. We're going to take Dragonfire Red, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the orange wash, you know, a couple drops of red, a lot of drops of water, and this we're going to put on the dagger in our hand, and this is going to make that psionic kind of appearance. You're going to see the white, you're going to see the red. It's going to give that translucent look without being translucent. This step can be a little tricky. We're going to grab our Flash Glitz Yellow. and we're just going to dry brush the hair. So it's okay if you get a little bit on the swords and the face, as you can just go back to the colors and cover that up afterwards. But try and be as careful as possible, because the less mistakes, the easier it is to clean up. And we're just trying to get the highest points of the hair with this. That'll give that kind of lighter blonde look. You could also just use highlights, but dry brushing is more fun for me. Now, while we still have the Flash Glitz yellow out, we're going to go ahead and paint the sword and the flames. So the flame sword, all yellow. And this is where painting it white before is really going to help, because that yellow is going to go on that white a lot better than it goes on the black. Now, real quick, while we're waiting on everything to dry, we're going to jump back to the vampire garments, and we're just going to go ahead and paint the rim. This is a step that you can completely ignore and just leave the rim black. But since it's my player character, I like to have them have a specific color so they're more easily identifiable to the players and myself on the board. Now, headed back to the orange fire, we're going to paint the flames with this. Now, don't use the wash. We need the actual paint here. And we're just going to paint not the very tips, but the majority of the flames, leaving the sword and the bottom of the flames yellow. Help, picture fire. That's what we're making here. While the fire's drying, we're going to grab our speed paint dark wood, and we're going to do the wooden base of the figure. Again, I love speed paint dark wood on anything wooden. I think it gives a fantastic wooden finish, especially if it's up against a black prime with a white dry brush. Now it's time to finish the fire. We're going to grab our Dragonfire red, and this time we're just going to paint the tips of the flames. We want to build those colors up. So we're going yellow, orange, red. This will give the perfect looking fire for this flame blade. Our final step is to tarnish the metal. So we're going to take some Citadel Nuln Oil, I don't know how to say it. We're going to take some of that, and we're going to do all the metal. So just little streaks down the blade, on the buckles, that just kind of darkens them, give them that grimy kind of more war-ridden look instead of the flat metal. And we are back. Arsena level 5 is finished. But before I show her off, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment to let me know how I'm doing, subscribe if you're not already. So without further ado, I give you the Fire Genasi Rouge the Fire Genasi Soul Knife Rogue equipped with a psionic dagger and flame blade, looking super awesome here. By comparison, sorry, the camera's really wobbly, but there you go. Still same color scheme. I think the hair turned out much better on this figure. I did better with the dry brushing, I think, so that blonde really comes through, but you still see that kind of orangish fire. I think the flame blade turned out really well. I've never actually painted a completely flaming sword, so I was a little hesitant, but I think doing it yellow and then building up to the orange and the red was the perfect way to go. The psionic dagger, this is the same thing I did when I did the first Soul Knife Rogue I ever painted. I think the wash over the white looks really good. Kind of gives that effect that it's not actually there. And yeah, overall, I think she turned out really well. One thing I did forget to do, she does have gold earrings, and I forgot to paint those, but I can do those off cam, no problem. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think Sydney will really like it. Well, actually, I know she really liked it. I sent her a picture earlier, but she hasn't actually seen it on the table yet. So, but that's gonna do it for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will catch ya next time. We have one more of the Lost Mines crew to do, and that is Big D or Dodongo himself. Here he is in his new pose, added weapon tree, and a few more surprises you'll see once we start painting. But yeah, catch y'all later. Peace.